You want to fight? This is a lot better than yours. Do some serious damage. Hey, what's up, guys? It is Rob from Movie Review Time. Hey, look, we're on YouTube, bitch. I'm here to do another ranking video. If you haven't seen my last one where I ranked the Halloween movies, definitely check it out. I also ranked the Friday the 13th films, which was my first ranking, so definitely check that video out. And I stated my next ranking would be the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And I have Freddy here with me. If he gets out of hand, I got this. Shave with this thing. Anyway, we are going to rank the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, 9 in total. That, you know, includes the remake. And yeah, so they're going to be from worst to best. Just my opinions. Some of these you might, you know, be like, oh, well, duh, you know, that would be number 1 or that would be number 2. Nightmare on Elm Street series is really not that complicated to rank, in my opinion. But all right, so we're going to start with number 9, and that is the remake. Now, I do not own the remake simply because I do not like the movie. It's garbage because it didn't have this guy. Robert Englund is Freddy. Let's just make that clear. Okay, let's make it clear. Jackie Earle Haley did his job, okay? I am not blaming him whatsoever. I am blaming the writers and the directors for even releasing that piece of shit, or even thinking about it. Sitting around a table and being like, you know what, we should make a Nightmare on Elm Street remake without Robert Englund. No. No. I understand, you know, the later films in the Nightmare on Elm Street series began to just be kind of silly. Kind of like the Child's Play films, or the Chucky films. But Robert Englund is Freddy Krueger. The way he walks, the way he talks, the way he eats, the way he breathes. He is Freddy. So replacing him was just, it was a stupid thing. It was a stupid thing. Not to mention that the remake did shot for shots of the original 1984 Nightmare on Elm Street movie. They did the claw coming out of the bathtub in between Nancy's legs. They did Freddy appearing out above the headboard while she's sleeping. They did Tina getting, you know, drugged down the hall in a body bag. They did Tina, you know, in bed dreaming, getting flipped around and stuff, getting slashed. It's the same stuff. Freddy's a pedophile in the movie, which is what they wanted to do from the beginning. You know, when the first Nightmare on Elm Street came out, they wanted Freddy to be like a pedophile. I think it's better that he's a killer. I like Jackie Earle Haley. Okay, I like him. I did not like the remake. So that's why it's my least favorite, or the worst. Okay, so coming in at number 8 is Freddy's Dead. Okay, which is the 6th film. Now, this one is really silly. Very, very silly. I mean, Freddy just became a jokester. You were! What the hell? You were a jokester. You wouldn't shut up. You better wipe that smile off your face. He would look at his makeup. I mean, Robert Englund was having fun with this. I mean, you have Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr. You have Alice Cooper as his father. This movie explains kind of like how Freddy kind of got his dream powers, so to say, because at the end, you know, it shows like these dream demons, and it just was really, the kills were stupid, and the characters were dumb. You just didn't care about any of them, but at the same time, it didn't take itself seriously. Really, it didn't. I mean, you were supposed to laugh at certain situations. Like when Freddy's playing the video game, he's like, great graphics. You know, there's things that you're just supposed to find funny. It turned into a horror comedy. More than the others. Freddy's Dead, it was also the 3D thing. There are some elements that I do like about the film, but I still think it's one of the weaker movies. And I'd actually say it's the weakest. If the remake never came out, this would be the worst one. All right, coming in at number 7 is A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. I found this movie to be incredibly boring. I just can't really get into it. But Stephen Hopkins did this. You know, he did Lost in Space, Predator 2. There was some cool visuals in this movie, but like, what was that one scene where the girl, like, she starts to grow? He's like force feeding her stuff, or something. Like, her cheeks start to get really fat, and like, I remember that scene always bothered me when I was younger. But you got Lisa Wilcox in this as Alice, and I liked Alice. Alice was a great character from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, which is one of my favorites. But she comes back in this, and her character was just bland in this movie. You know, of course she's, you know, gonna have the kid. It just, the story was just wacky. I just didn't really care for it. But yeah, it's just one of the weaker ones for me. So let's see, what are we on now? Number 6 is Freddy vs. Jason. Now, I've talked about this in my Friday 13th ranking. I do like the fact that they got Robert Englund to come back to play Freddy. It's about damn time. And they got him back to come, you know, to play Freddy. That was awesome. And I felt like his role in this was a lot better than these two films. I mean, he was comical in this movie, but he was awesome. He was just like, I felt like Freddy was back in this movie. I really did. And he was going up against Jason, and that was something, you know, we've been waiting for the longest time. But yeah, Freddy vs. Jason is awesome. Coming in at number 5 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Basically, the story goes is if Freddy was actually real. Like, you know, everyone plays themselves. Heather Langenkamp plays herself. And, you know, it's about like if Freddy is not just a story, but if he were real. So they like change his appearance. He's got like this bone claw and stuff. The visuals were great in this. I do like how he wears like his sweater, but he wears like this black like trench coat and hat. Pretty cool. And like even his makeup is different. He's got like a different look to him. Yeah, really interesting. It's an interesting take on the series as well as a take on Freddy. It was a breath of fresh air. I mean, coming out of, you know, Freddy's dead. So not a bad film at all. Coming in at number 4 is one of my favorites, and that is Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Now, I know it doesn't make sense after coming off of Nightmare on Elm Street 3, because you basically kill all the characters, all the survivors that were in this film, or in Nightmare 3, you kill them off, and then you create new characters. But aside from that, like, you know, and plus the way Freddy comes back to life, a dog pisses on the burial site, and the ground opens up, and he comes back to life. I mean, yeah, okay, it's just about as stupid as lightning coming down and hitting Jason in the face in Friday 13th Part 6 and bringing him back to life like he's some sort of Frankenstein monster. You know, it's whatever. It's, you don't take this stuff seriously. I mean, come on. It was cool to see Freddy back in the junkyard setting. Freddy's back! I love it. And the music. This has some of the best music in the entire series. But yeah, I like this movie. It's one of the greats in my opinion, but it's still not, you know, this comes in at number 4, and obviously the other ones are better, but I still like it. I know it gets a lot of crap, much like Friday 13th Part 8 does. Alright, so we're on to number 3, and coming in at number 3 for me is A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. A movie that gets overlooked, a movie that gets put down. You know, when the remake came out, people were like, man, I can't believe finally we got a darker Freddy. Has no one even watched this movie? You want a darker Freddy, watch this movie. From the beginning, when he's driving that school bus all crazy, Jesse's sitting in there, you know, the main character's sitting in there with these two girls, and he like drives off this canyon and stuff, and he's driving the school bus. I love that. And when he's like, you got the body, I got the brain. And then, you know, he had jokes in this, but he hardly even said anything. And the pool scene is my favorite, when he's like, help yourself, fucker. He starts killing these kids at the pool. And he basically, in this movie, you know, he tries to take over Jesse's body. Jesse is the new kid living in the house, Nancy's house. He finds her diary and stuff like that. And he tries to take over his body, like basically to be, you know, become living. It was a cool idea, and I do like it. They, you know, they call it, there's a lot of like gay tendencies in this film, and that I don't even look at it that way. I mean, when I first saw this film, I didn't even think about that. But you know, the stupid dance that Jesse does it's whatever. You know, it's if you laugh at it, you laugh at it. If you cringe, you cringe. Who cares? Anyway, I love Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Coming in at number 2, of course, is A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and to a lot of people, this would be their favorite, at least sequel, or even their favorite out of the entire series. It's definitely a great one. It is definitely great, because you got returning. You got John Saxon, and you got Heather Langenkamp, but you also have Patricia Arquette, Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah, really, really awesome. There's a lot of connections to the first movie. The fact that you get to see like Amanda Kruger, you know, Freddy's mother, and like you get to learn like, you know, Freddy needs to be buried. You know, his bones need to be buried for him to actually like stop and, you know, rest and basically get rid of Freddy for good. And like these kids actually use their sleeping to their advantage. Like in the dreams, they start to fight Freddy. They start to fight him back. And they do in part 4 too. I like when Alice actually gains the powers of all of her friends, and she fights Freddy. That's awesome. But there's some really cool stuff in that. You know, I've always been fascinated with dreams. How you're in a dream and you can fly, you can jump high, you can, you know, punch a tree down or something like that. The possibilities are endless. And when it comes to dreams, like I think this movie did a good job, you know, telling that in the kid's point of view. Like you know, one of them is strong, and then you know the other one he was a mute. You know, can scream really loud in dreams and like actually hurt people. So really, really cool. And there's like this wizard kid. I love this movie. I don't know. It's fantastic. It's great. And then of course number 1 is A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. I love it. Directed by Wes Craven. Johnny Depp is in this. He's introduced. He has one of the greatest death scenes. Well, actually, Johnny Depp has one of the most memorable death scenes because everyone talks about the blood coming up from the bed. One of my favorite death scenes that always scared me was from part 4. And I think, what was it? Joey. He's on his waterbed. His waterbed starts moving, and he pulls back the cover, and he sees this naked chick inside the waterbed. Like she's in the water, like looking up at him inside the waterbed. And what's funny, when I first saw that movie, I had a waterbed. So that scene stuck with me. Not only was I thinking there's a chick down there that's naked and waiting for me, but I also thought Freddy was down there. The fact that chick, disappears and Freddy comes up out of the waterbed. You were a sneaky motherfucker. You were sneaky. He come out of the waterbed and he's like, how's this for a wet dream? And then he kills him in the waterbed. I'm like, man, that's awesome. So, I was scared of my waterbed for the longest time. But this has one of the coolest death scenes, in my opinion, out of the whole series, and that's when Tina basically gets hurt. She gets drug up the wall. She gets slashed down the chest. She starts bleeding everywhere. She's rolling everywhere. She's sitting there. She's going, rah, like this. She's reaching out. And then she just falls flat on the bed. Blood. There's blood. There's blood everywhere. They tried to do that in the remake, like I said. And the remake is just laughable. They didn't even have as much blood in the remake. This movie, there's blood everywhere. I mean, Freddy is probably the darkest in this because he hardly says anything. And when he does, it's kind of creepy. It's just kind of like muddled, like, Tina, watch this. You know, this movie, you know, Robert Englund made Freddy his own. He really did. And the fact that Nancy, you know, Heather Langenkamp, you know, she tries to figure out a way to bring Freddy into the real world, and then she again not only like confronts him, she confronts her fear. Brings him in the real world. She starts to set traps. It becomes like Home Alone mixed with Nightmare on Elm Street. Awesome movie. Love it. Definitely one of the best horror films ever made. Definitely one of my favorite Wes Craven films. So there you go. That is my ranking of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I wish I could say I liked all your films, but I like Jason's. Alright, quick recap. Number 9 is the remake. Number 8 is Freddy's Dead. Number 7 is Nightmare on Elm Street 5 Dream Child. Number 6 is Freddy vs. Jason. Number 5 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Number 4 is Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master. Number 3 is Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Freddy's Revenge. Number 2 is Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. And, of course, the first one is A Nightmare on Elm Street. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I have a lot of fun filming these ranking videos because, I don't know, there's just so much to do with them. But like I said, you know, before, I have a huge list of different movie series that I'm going to tackle. And I've already done the Halloween movies and the Friday 13th movies. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing next as far as ranking movies. I might do like the Alien films or the Predator films or even like the George A. Romero stuff. And I seen like, you know, comments that you guys leave like Chucky Doll. You wanted me to rank like the Saw films. The thing is, I don't really own all the Saw films, and I don't own all the Conjuring films, and some of them I actually have to watch again. And there's another series you listed that I don't have, or I haven't seen. Oh yeah, it is the Conjuring, like La Llorona or whatever that one is, the newest one in the Conjuring universe. I haven't seen that movie, so obviously I can't rank that series yet. Anyway, yeah, more rankings coming your way. Say goodbye. Look right into there. Say bye. You're on prime time, bitch. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this. This is my #1 prized possession right here, my boy. He sits behind that TV in this room, and you can just see his head peeking over. And sometimes when I'm sleeping, you know, if I fall asleep in here and I don't even know what's going on, I'll wake up and I'll see him like looking at me. That's pretty creepy. We're just best friends. Alright guys, I'm getting out of here. Stay tuned for more ranking videos, more movie reviews, and different things. I'm also going to be continuing on with the Halloween movie reviews. My very first video on this channel was me actually doing quick reviews of each film in the Halloween series, but I'm actually doing in-depth ones. So my next review obviously is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. So I'm going to be continuing that. So stay tuned. This is Rob signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one.